The comment of the day comes from a man this time around. And we're going to talk about something that I absolutely differ with the main red pill influencers like Fresh and Fit, the whatever podcast, the Pearly things, I think Andrew Tate. I agree with them like about 70%. But those 30% that they're peddling to you guys, I absolutely 100% disagree. So let's read this comment, and I'll tell you the context of this comment because what on Monday I covered a story about the former WWE star Nikki Garcia, who started promoting the slow dating type of dating, which essentially means that a girl drags a guy along for a long time until he gets any. Meanwhile, she will get the free dinners, the drinks, the attention, the validation, the time, and all of that stuff, right? This is the slow dating bullshit that I covered, which I think is horrible idea for pretty much everybody, but especially women like her who are single in their 40s. So this comment was on that video. So now this guy says, honestly, I agree with her. All young women should date this way. Why? If we want low body counts that requires the ladies to better pre-screen their partners, she is attempting to address the whole dating culture epidemic by holding herself to a higher standard of self-respect. We wanted traditional women back. This is how traditional women dated for long-term marriage success. Better late than never, especially as a role model of other young women just starting their husband hunting journey. Right. Wrong. uh, this is the problem with low body count. Now, I think this high body count sort of a rejection came from, like I said, Andrew Tates of the world, and they're completely 100% incorrect. And I'll tell you why. Now, listen, when we're talking about like dozens and dozens of dudes, by the end of your 20s, yeah, that's a hoe. That's a girl who goes out, gets drunk, lets anybody stick it into her, does it all the time without thinking, without protection. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad in many different ways, including STD scares and stuff like that. But somebody who genuinely wanted to date men and it didn't always work out. And yes, she ended up having sex with them, which, by the way, women should want to do with men as well as part of them exploring and getting to know men, right? Because a woman also wants a man who's a good match in the bedroom. So these women, had sex with men who they genuinely wanted to get into the relationships, but it didn't work out. Now, again, if we're talking about dozens and dozens and dozens, then that's a different story. But a girl who has had, a few sex partners, either sometimes for pleasure, but a lot of times because she's definitely trying to get to know a guy. There's not only nothing wrong with that, because obviously she needs to pick the right guys, use protection, make sure their STD checks done, the actual dating stuff. So a woman in her late 20s can have, a dozen of guys that, she genuinely, wanted to pursue a relationship with, but things didn't work out. Here's the problem with women who essentially try to date but withhold sex from men even though they want to. First, that means a girl's playing a game, right? To me, if a girl wants to have sex with me, she should have sex with me. If she doesn't, that means there's a game. That means she is withholding sex as a bargaining chip in a relationship, right? And she's now in charge of that relationship because you're becoming her bitch. Okay, I will do this and I will do this with the hopes to maybe have sex with her. Now, to me, that is unacceptable, number one. Number two, let me tell you what happens, because I live in a country where there are a lot of these women have a low body count. The other day I was with a girl who I was her second guy, and she is in her, I think she's 35, right? The other day I was also with a girl who is 45, but she hasn't had sex for 23 years. Let me tell you what happens with women who have low body count. They are really, really, really bad at sex. And they have no real interest in it really anymore. They're not interested in bringing anything to the table, keeping your sex life spicy, trying something new, and generally pleasing them. Because to them, it's more of like a wifely duties. That's just a side effect of their feelings. which sex isn't. Sex is a physical pleasure activity. That's it. So if you are a guy who's looking for a wife to have a horrible sex with for the rest of your life, I don't know what to tell you. But in my case, my sex life is very important to me. And the only way to have a sex life is with somebody who actually likes sex. And women who like sex have sex. Okay. For example, I like sex and I have sex all the time. I also like chocolate and I eat chocolate all the time. I also love mango sticky rice. And that's one of the best things about Thailand. I'm kidding, but it's still very delicious no matter how many times I have it. So by the way, let me know, guys. What is your favorite Thai food? Do you like Thai food, and what's your favorite one? Let's talk about it at the end of the show. Maybe I just popped into my brain. So the body count becomes a very relative number. But if it is low, I gotta tell you, you're not going to have a good sex life. Now, let's visit the part where this guy says, well, this is not a traditional woman. I disagree. I not only live in a country where, women are traditional and their family values, I visited quite a few of them. I visited almost every country in Southeast Asia. I was born in Russia. I visited China. I just went to Africa, in Egypt. Was Mexico, Canada, America, all of those countries. Okay, I got to tell you, no, there are plenty of traditional women who are also sexual human beings, and they do end up having sex. Again, you can't have both. To me, and again, you can call it what you will. I don't even give a shit about what the name is. A woman needs to act traditionally, means submissive, respectful, and all of those things. Whatever you want to call it, I call it traditional. But at the same time, she needs to like sex and she needs to be good at it. Otherwise, I don't want it. I don't want to marry a girl who's perfect and all of this, and she can cook and she can clean and she's, all of those great things. But my sex life sucks. And I got to tell you, that's the only thing that's going to happen. And by the way, spare me all this bullshit, but I'm going to teach her. Listen, if somebody doesn't like something, it doesn't matter how much. Have you ever seen those parents who teach their kid to like play violin or play soccer, and the kid fucking doesn't want to do it? That kid is always bad at it. Always bad at it. Those kids who you see running around, whatever, playing soccer, and when they suck, it's because their parents forcing them to do it, and they just have to do it, but they don't want to, and that's why they suck at it. My parents wanted me to play violin when I was a child. You know how bad I suck at violin? Oh, yeah, I didn't want to do it. Same thing. Same thing. So, I'm going to teach you. First of all, how the fuck you just going to teach everything? You don't know everything. That's the whole point. That, someone who has some experience with other people, other sex partners, will bring something to the table, and most importantly, bring the fact that she wants it, and she wants to keep it going, and she wants to try something new, and she wants to keep it spicy. Those women who refrain from sex and use it as a bargaining chip with men are not going to be any of that. So I propose to you that a woman can still be very much traditional and still be a sexual being that will give you a great sex life. And by the way, also understand the fact that you cannot be monogamous with her. For example, I cannot be monogamous. I have never been monogamous in any of my serious relationships. So this is why I reject this whole body count bullshit. And at the same time, I'm also just going to ask you guys, for those who like absolutely need the low body count, does it really matter if she had one guy before you, or let's say 20 guys before you? Like, what is the difference at that point? She's either had men inside of her before you, or she hasn't. Now, if she is a virgin, that's a whole new story. It's like adopting a kitten, right? If you want to get a nice lap cat who will purr on your lap when you're watching TV, you do not adopt a kitten. You adopt an older cat that you already know that's how they are. So you do not adopt a kitten, because this kitten could be like a mischievous piece of shit who will just be running around and tearing out your pillows. So a virgin, it is a absolutely pretty much guaranteed sexual disaster. So all of this thing that I want to be your girl, it's bullshit, guys. It is complete bullshit. It's like saying, like, I don't, like, this woman has talked to other men. before me. It's a little too ridiculous. And like I said, you can't have it both ways. If you want to have a good sex life, you're going to have to get a girl who has some experience with men sexually. All right, let me catch up on the comments. The Rock says, I'm pragmatic guy, and if devil forced me, I choose a girl with 100 bodies that feels sorry for her past than a girl with 5 bodies that still jumps from one guy to the next. Would you choose the same as me? So I'm not really sure if those are the actual like choices, right? To me, yes. If a girl has had 100, that's a little too many. But okay, let's just go with this, right? Obviously, I want to ask why, right? Like me, for example, is she a sex addict? Is she just never happy with a guy? She just has absolutely no way to create emotional attachment to any other human being, right? Well, those are deal breakers that have nothing to do with sex. High body count here is sort of indication of something else. I'm talking about a body count of 10 to 20. If you're dating a girl in her maybe late 20s or early 30s, to me, that's not only reasonable, that's kind of almost desirable. Um, Now, listen, I have been with girls who I was only a second or third guy, and they were great. You know what I mean? But it's again, like if you think you're going to get those exceptions, it's not. And the only reason for that, now that I think about it, is because those girls that I dated like that, they got married out of high school and were with their husbands for like 8 to 10 years. So that's why they have a body count of 1 or maybe 2, right? But if they were single or in different, short-term relationships throughout their 20s, that body count would have gone up. If you want to ditch modern women and move abroad for more traditional relationships, go to themillionmanproject.com, take my most comprehensive course, and change your life.